Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Darcy Grantham, and this week is November 14th. And in this video, I'm going to go over the small multifamilies and large multifamilies that have came on market in the Des Moines Metro that is on the DMAR, Des Moines Area Realtor Association MLS list. So if you are on any filters that my team has sent out or another agent has sent out, you might have already seen these, and that's fine. What I'm going to do is kind of just recap the active listings, properties that came on the market in the last 7, 8, 9 days, properties that have went pending in the last 7, 8, 9 days, kind of what their backstory is. And then one of my favorite things to do to make sure that you're paying attention to the market is the sold properties in the last 7, 8, 9 days. That way we know what the property is listed for, what did it sell for, what type was the property, and kind of an end analysis. Because we always see them on the front end. Then it's very common for us as investors to forget about them, quite frankly, if they don't come back up in our filter. So if they go pending and we forget about them, we don't always track to see where they ended up going and selling for. So that's something I always try to pay attention to and try to see the story behind the sale. And we're going to do that in this episode. So I'm going to share my screen. And if you have any questions, or if you want any filters set up so that you can see properties that went pending, properties that went active, properties that went sold in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 days, and you want them directly sent to your email so you don't have to watch this video, let me know. Shoot an email over to me. Information is below in this video, and I will be able to get you on that filter list. So without further ado, let's dig in. We're going to start with properties that have sold in the last 7 days, and there's only one, and that property was on Brattleboro. It was a duplex. It was a very nice put together property. It was listed at $260,000, sold for $260,000, sat on the market for 14 days, full list price. What that tells me is that probably, I'm guessing an owner occupied bought it just because it was a really nice duplex in that area. So it was all fixed up and redone. Let's just take a quick gander at what it looked like. So your typical grays, stainless steel appliances, scratch a dent, check that dent out. Haha, that's funny. I do it too. So no shade, not throwing shade. It's funny to see that stuff. Little awkward, quirky little bathroom, good looking kitchen, stainless steel again. So both units look pretty similar. In unit laundry, that makes a big difference. It's nice. It's a big old bathroom they got there. And here's your hallway. So this was the less finished, less updated, but there's your hallway up to the second unit. So it looks like it was an up-down unit. Cool. Okay. Again, nothing crazy. Top unit's leased at $1,500 a month. Was the bottom unit. Bottom unit was leased at $1,000 a month. So you have $150,000 of total rent at that $260,000 price point. That's pretty steep, but obviously I have not been in the units, and it is definitely turnkey. Looks like it's leased up and ready to go. So that was the one sold property in the last 7 days. Now let's look at the pending property. So what went pending? I'm going to start showing just all of the MLS and not just Polk County, just to get a bigger, broader perspective. But I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of the properties that are sold outside of the Des Moines Metro, whether it's anything, maybe Polk, Dallas, Warren, Madison, those are areas that I'm familiar with. You got the Story County. It might be familiar, but it's hard telling. So anyway, 616 Park Avenue up in Story City, listed at $195. Oh yeah, we don't know sold because it's pending. So hard to tell what is sold for. Days on market 29. So we'll see here in the next 60 days what that ended up flowing through for. Listed by an agent up in Story City area. Fourplex is downtown Story City. So it does look like a built for purpose ranch fourplex, which is nice. Looks like a little office too. Maybe an office in that property. Maybe not. Maybe that's just the entryway. But anywho, we're going to scoot down to 521 and 523 Broad Street. This one was listed list price, and it had a pretty significant price decrease to get to this list price at $199,900. Looks like it's a built for purpose brick duplex on the south side. It does to walk out, which adds some value. Tenant occupied currently, no interior photos. I'll be just going to be real transparent on this one. I was the buying agent that put it under contract, so can't share too many of those details, but I will let you know in the next 60 days. You'll see a sold transaction come through on this one, and we can dig into a little bit more of the details around it. Here we have 1500 First Avenue East Street in East Avenue in Newton. Again, Newton's one of those, I'm just not really familiar with it. It was an old nursing home. So there are, and I'll just tell you from my experience and my conversations in small town Iowa, there are more and more of these properties coming up, old nursing homes that, I shouldn't say old, nursing homes that are no longer making sense as a business. The National Nursing Home Company just closes shop, tells people that in current nursing home, hey, you have 60 days to find nursing home elsewhere, and the families are on a scramble. I know of a small town close to me that this happened to, and the property is going up for sale. So if that interests you, I don't know a ton about it, but really you're buying a business, you're buying a mixed use or a new use type building, but to change a nursing home into apartment complex, it's not overly complicated in many cases. So might be something to look at. So pretty slow in the pending sales. There's 3 pending sales this week. And that wraps those up. So now we'll go on to what came on active. Active was also pretty slow this week, although there's one that we'll talk about that has a lot of fingers to it, and that is 428 East Street in Grinnell and Mount Pleasant. So this is basically a seller that is selling all his properties in Grinnell and all his properties in Mount Pleasant. I know Mount Pleasant not very well at all. They have a good bar downtown. My wife and I went to once, but I don't know anything about that place. So quite frankly, I can't speak educated on it. Grinnell is one of those two. I know enough to be dangerous, but I just don't know a ton about it. I actually did break down this there's about 6 properties in Grinnell, and the rest are in Mount Pleasant. Now, I called the agent up because I was curious on this. Would they sell the properties separately? And he said the only way they would do that is if someone bought all of the Grinnell or all of the Mount Pleasant. So just take that with a grain of salt. And there are not financials on this until the buyer and the buyer's agent sign an NDA, and then you get an OM on this. So if you are interested in something like this, it's majority of the properties, and they put them in the remarks, the majority of the properties is in Grinnell. So you're probably looking at 10+ million in sales volume for Grinnell, and then the remaining in Mount Pleasant. I've not added that up. And quite frankly, I don't know if that is listed anywhere, but just going with what I'm seeing and the number of units per city, that's probably what we're looking at. So again, that's a big one. That'll sit for a while, just listed 6 days ago. Again, there's a lot of underwriting, a lot of due diligence that goes into that type of property. So not surprising that it's going to sit for a while, but we'll see. The other one that came on market is 2911 Fifth Avenue. And this was a multifamily conversion property. Just as a property with 2, possibly 3 units. Just off the bat, what that tells me is this does not have a rental certificate. And to get a rental certificate for this type of property is going to be next to impossible. It might have just the fact that it says possibly 3 units. It currently has 2. Just scares the living crap out of me. Let's just take a look. It's clearly built for purpose, like no questions. There's no other photos. I just struggle with this type of listing of knowing, and it's listed at 380. I don't even know where to start with that. My first glance, when I think of a property like this, without even looking at the price, I think 180, 210 tops. And when I see a $380,000 list price, I feel like I'm missing something. So I don't know the answer to that. I'm probably going to call the agent up and ask what's going on, and maybe I'll report back, but I just don't know. That pretty much wraps up this week's small multifamily recap of what's going on in the small multifamily market. I say small multifamily, really residential multifamily listed properties market. Those of you that are interested and want to see a filter alone for a specific type of property or area of property, please reach out to my team and myself below. I can set you up on that. It's really easy, no obligation. If you do have a multifamily that you own and you're trying to list, or you're trying to figure out what the value is, please let our team know. We'll put together an analysis, because it's going to be a mix between commercial evaluation and residential comparables. There is no exact science to that, unless you're looking at a property that is only commercial and only going to be based on the rent that's coming in versus the price and the cap rate. Those are much easier to value. But if that interests you, please reach out to me. My name is Darcy Grantham, real estate agent and investor here in Des Moines, Iowa with Keller Williams, licensed in Iowa. And about 50% of my business comes from investment properties. So if you do find yourself really digging into the investment world and you just really want to know more about the investing stuff, please let me know. Reach out below. Happy to start a conversation and just talk real estate investing in Des Moines, Iowa. Till next time, see you next week. Next Monday, we'll get this video released the same way.